Welcome everyone. Good morning. Welcome to hopefully what will be the coolest session that you'll go to today. No pun intended, but this is really about the coolest women in HVAC. And I'm Cheryl Kern, I'll be your moderator today. I'm really thrilled. So this is really all about our panelists. I'm really thrilled, and I'll put their picture up so that you can see who they are. To have Ruth Ann Davis with us, and to have Lauren Roberts with us today. And so they've really got, I was just chatting with them and asking them about their years in the industry. So we've got everything covered because Nazi has 2 years, Lauren has 12 years, and Ruth Ann has, drum roll, 26 years. Congratulations. So it's really pretty phenomenal. So we're looking forward to hearing from them. And because we've only got a total of 20 minutes here, what we plan to do is to ask a few questions, and then we intend to allow about 5 minutes for Q&A, so hopefully you'll think of some questions that you'd love to ask. So I'm just going to kick it right off and say that we really want to talk about the progress that's been made over the last, quite honestly, few decades. And so really, I'd like to ask you, Ruth Ann, because you do have the longest tenure in the group, when you think about all the challenges and the barriers that women have faced in HVAC, where do you see the most significant change has been made, the most progress so far?
Well, I picked the topic of the changes in training and education and the availability of information flow. When I came into this industry, there were virtually no women in leadership positions, and HVAC just wasn't something that attracted women. So I am excited to be here in Las Vegas because this is where I cut my teeth. I came into the industry with a manufacturing background. I didn't know anything about HVAC. Well, I knew the only way I was going to learn it was if I got out with the engineers and the architects and became a student of our industry. I don't believe in being a student of any particular product, but if you're going to be in the industry, learn everything about what else is going on in the industry. So the training and education and flow of information has changed so much in 26 years. There's so much opportunity. We just need to share our passion and our excitement for what we're doing and then expand it to everything that's associated with your product or whatever facet of the business you're in. And it's been amazing for me to see that if you learn, you become the expert in a little tiny field. And then if someone needs to know something and you go and research it and you get the information and share it, I mean, the next thing I knew when I started coming here and asking what an architect or an engineer wanted, would go back to our factory 3 hours away and figure out with our engineering team how to make that happen, how to take the labor out of the project or whatever. I found myself on elevator shafts, going up on the top of structures, and solving a problem or finding a solution. So to me, the barrier, there were barriers, but if you just jump in, don't wait till you have 100% of the answer. As soon as you have enough information and you gain credibility, you'll have 100% information pretty soon. But it's the ability to get to the information that's needed for each situation that I see, and it's right at our fingertips. So that's
so technology and learning aids and all of that has
technological
really been
advances,
very important. Yes. That's great. Why don't we pass it to Nazi, because I'd love to hear from someone that's only got 2 years in the industry.
Yes. So I have an interesting story because I've only been here 2 years, but I come from a high-tech industry and kind of went through a lot of this stuff with the high-tech industry. I think one of the biggest changes that I've seen, even in the past 2 years since I've been here, is bringing in the newer generation, the millennial that have come in. They are more of what we call the global citizens, and they look at more inclusiveness in everything they do. So a lot of the barriers that we had in the past for even at a tech industry where maybe training wasn't available as much for us in order to understand what's going on in the women's world. With that having gone, people who are coming in now are learning that, and they're bringing it into the workforce. So it is a new challenge. It's different challenges, but the newer guys who are coming in are helping us hopefully remove some of those barriers. The one thing I would say we have to do a better job at is to promote our industry. Our industry is not considered to the newer generation as the hot industry, the cool industry. We're not Google, we're not, the LinkedIns of the world, but we are a great industry and we have to go out and promote it. So I challenge all of us here to promote our industry and promote it so that the younger generation comes in to help us build our future.
That's great. How about you, Laura?
I think when I think about the significant barriers of the last 5 to 10 years that have been brought down for women in the industry, I mostly think about other high-profile positions that women hold in the political arena or the corporate world in general. And then specifically within Johnson Controls, you see a lot of women at very high-level positions, and they're extremely successful. And I think that's proven to our company leaders that, hey, women are accepted in these positions and they're very good at them, and we belong here.
That's great. So when you think about your own personal journey, right? And so I know yours is just a few years, yours is a decade and a couple years, and you're over 25 years. But you think about your own personal journey in this industry that we're trying to make super cool. What lessons have you personally learned so far that you really take inside and say, what can I take away from that to inform who might come behind me to be more successful in what they do? So why don't we start with you, Lauren?
For me, I recently joined the Women in HVACR organization and the board of it to help mentor women that are coming up behind me and help them learn about some of the pitfalls that came about in my career, as well as maybe some of the challenges and even success stories that I had to make their path much smoother going forward.
Lessons learned. I think the biggest thing that I would say is getting involved and finding ways to serve in all aspects of this industry, whether it's who certifies your product, who's selling your product, but don't be hesitant to say yes. Serve on committees, be willing to volunteer, even if it's for a short period of time and you're not really sure if you're going to be good at that, but get involved, find a way to serve. And for my personal journey, serving and volunteering and saying yes, getting out of your comfort zone, and then making yourself a student and becoming really good at what you have volunteered or where you're serving. You'll find yourself leading committees, doing things. One of the most exciting things for me is being able to go to Capitol Hill and sit down with our legislators and discuss the needs of our industry and feel completely confident that we are making a difference. And as an individual or as a committee or as a company, we are making a difference. And I see the progress we're making, but there's so much opportunity. So find a way, find something that you can be passionate and enthusiastic about, and then serve to your heart's content. If it doesn't feel right and it doesn't go with your personality, then find another place to serve. But when you find your niche and you're passionate about it, you're unstoppable. And then people want to be a part of what you're a part of. It's magnetic. So volunteer, serve, be excited.
Hey, Ruth Ann, just a follow-up question to that, just listening to you, and you talk about engaging and, getting involved in the political system or being in leadership positions. Are you paying that forward, and part of your training is you are attempting to take others along with you so that they're learning side by side with you?
Right. Oh, not we're not an island to ourselves. Everything, and when I think about passion and enthusiasm, if we're generating that, then people want to come alongside. So when I have an opportunity, whether it doesn't have to be just women, I find myself encouraging younger people, older people, you can look at diversity from many points of view. You could be a young man and it could be diversity. So I promote women because I are one. But I also look at it that fill your cup and give it away. So bringing people alongside, encouraging people to get involved with the organizations that I get involved in. And when you find something that's really good, don't hesitate to share it. I mean, I serve with organizations that a lot of people in our industry maybe don't get involved with, working like with gas utilities because we have gas products. But finding other outreaches where you can serve and get involved and learn. And then going to Capitol Hill, I love taking new people, encouraging new people to come along. But when you read or you hear about something, here again, don't just look at what's offered by your company, but look at our industry. Be involved in the social media, everything that's out there that will tell you what's going on in Washington, D.C. Read about it, know about your standards, your regulation, what relates, and then come join our march. We have industry events that are at Capitol Hill, and I really encourage you. We make life better. Without HRI, heating, air conditioning, ventilation, refrigeration, where would we be? We have a story to tell. We have something to be passionate about. Go share it, come March.
I feel a book is coming on. Okay, Nazi.
All right, so from my perspective, I would not have been here if I did not have good mentors and sponsors. To me, that is very, very important. Throughout our life, we are going to need people who can help us, that make us feel comfortable that we can go and discuss things with them, being a personal life issue or a work concern. So to me, that mentorship was very key in helping me through from being a young engineer coming into manufacturing and then going to high tech and now in HVAC to now being portfolio management work. The other thing I would say is I'll echo the passion part. If we're not passionate about what we're doing, then nobody's going to know about us. So we've got to be passionate. And that passion, to me, has been what has always opened the doors for me. Meeting new people, talking about what we do, and introducing new things to the world, keeping everybody comfortable at our 72-degree temperature inside of the rooms and buildings is what I would say has been important stuff to me that I would pass along to the younger generation coming in. The last thing I would say is also taking risks. We as women from the very beginning that we're born have been taught, be humble, don't talk about what you've accomplished, be the good girl. And it is all true, and we have to be humble in many cases, but it's okay to talk about what you've accomplished.
Yeah.
If we don't talk about what we've done, people will not know, and they can't use our research and the work we've done to further and better the country and the world. So talk about the good stuff that you've done so other people can jump in and join the passion.
That's great. Would you hold on to the mic there? So last question, then we'll open it up to the floor, is when you think about the competencies or the skills that you've really accelerated in as a result of being in this industry, just name one, Nazi, that you feel like has been elevated.
From a skill perspective, I would say feeling more comfortable with people around me and to be able to talk about the industry, right? The skill that will help just talk about the passion I've got about the industry. That's been one thing that I've learned in the past few years here.
Thank you. Ruth Ann?
I think the thing that served me best has been curiosity. Why? How? What makes it work? How can we make it better? But being curious about everything as it relates, excuse me, to whatever I'm doing. Curiosity.
That's great. And Lauren?
For me, I think perseverance has really served me as a woman in this industry the best, because at times we've all had hurdles with gender biases in meetings throughout our careers, and willing to sort of bite your tongue and move forward and keep being professional through it all and powering through, I think finally proves that we do belong. And so that's what I would say.
That is awesome. So we've got about 4 minutes left. I'd love to open it up and see if anybody's got a question. I see smiling faces out there. Yes.
So my question is, in trying to Thank you. My question is, in trying to create more awareness about the HVAC industry for women, and also kind of positioning the industry to appeal to women to want to be, what do you think are the type of things that need to be done in order to create that awareness or to create that appeal to draw more women into the industry?
I think we need to do a better job of sharing our success stories or our history, how we got to the industry. And we have women in all different positions in the industry, from accounting to warehouse to engineers and everything in between. And there are jobs of all types in this industry. And if more women outside of our industry heard our stories of how we got into it and fell into it, and the fact that none of us up here wants to ever leave it, I think that goes a long way in attracting women to the business, whether it's attractive in general or not. So.
And I think one of the easiest ways to talk about our industry and to engage people is to ask, where is your comfort coming from? I can't go into any structure and not look for where the airflow is. And then my next question is, and who's delivering it? Whose brand is on that? So we are surrounded every place we go with environmental comfort, and take pride. You're a part, maybe a very small part, but you're a part of making people's lives better. And when you share that, I would encourage each one of you to go home and learn your mechanical system in your home. One of the things I want to see is for people to start to recognize where their comfort comes from and how they can improve that delivery. You can be a part of making that change.
That's a great one.
From my perspective, I think we need to change what we call the value proposition of our industry when we talk to other people. People are intimidated, women and guys included, when they look at just silver things in the ceiling and big chillers in the yards, and they don't understand what to do with it. It is not something that people can touch on a regular basis, but they feel all the impact of it because they are in the buildings. So we've got to change our value proposition from being just a salespeople of equipment and pieces to the comfort, the 72-degree air, or how we're making your life better, bringing health to you. You know, we're in hospitals, we're in universities, we're at all the big places that if we didn't have it, people would lose lives. So to me, talking about it that way helps that. Also, events like this, right? Introducing people, bringing in both our male colleagues and female colleagues to events like this where they can learn about some of the issues, some of the concerns, and help promote it from within to the outside.
And so because we are, yes, go ahead. Real quick question.
Quick question. Can one of you guys think of a time when you could recall your assertiveness, that you had to step out of your comfort zone to put yourself in the right position when it was, because I think that's a big part of it. Somebody comment on that?
Like every day.
Do you want to go? Because I've got lots of stories. We could be sitting
Someone with a short story. Come on, Lauren. Go for it, Lauren.
And I'd like to not be in the story, too.
Lauren, go for the story.
You actually had a good one.
Okay. Yeah, so that's a good point. I had a vendor who had never met me who came in the other day and visited with myself and 2 gentlemen who I work with on my team. And he apparently forgot to do his research before he came into who was making the final buying decision at our company. And try to keep this short. I was asking him, okay, so you want us to be a stocking distributor. What's the stock requirement, the minimum inventory requirement? What's the freight minimums that you have, and that sort of thing? And what kind of training do you offer? And he looked at me and he got kind of like this and he said, oh, I looked at your website before the meeting and I saw that you were responsible for training. And I said, I just kind of shook my head and nodded. And said, thank you. So he goes on to tell me what kind of training they have. And then he says, oh, you guys, we have these great products we're going to show at our AHR booth. You guys, he's looking at the guys the whole time, you guys have to go to our booth. And they said, well, Lauren's going, but we're not going. And he said, well, you guys, you're going to just love it. And again, focusing on them. And they said, okay, well, Lauren's the only one going, so. And he said, oh, are you going to take pictures? I was like, are you kidding me? And so I just had to bite my tongue, like I mentioned earlier, and kind of remain professional throughout that, and thanked him for coming and everything. But chances are we're not going to be able to find too many ways to buy from him, I would imagine.
That's a great story, and I know because we're at time, we need to be respectful of the next group that's going to come in. But their information is on the website. You can get their full bios, their contact information, and I would encourage you, they said they will step out and take other questions, but please join me in thanking them. They're just phenomenal.